Hello, everypony. It's been a while since I've done a reading, but today you will all be getting your wish as I decide to read a Clop fiction. Now, people voted, and I know a lot of you are waiting for a grimdark, but I'm going to be reading a grimdark next. I'm not going to tell you what it is, but after this it will be a grimdark because people voted on my Facebook page. And Clop fiction came out on top. And after this, it's going to be grimdark. And after this grimdark, it's going to be a Decay by Thyrai. I don't know how to say his name. So I'll be looking forward to that. This Clop fiction I'm going to be reading today is a Fluttershy and Pinkie Pie ship. I only know the characters involved. I've kind of skimmed it. I've read a little bit of it. And it's got Futa, and my friend Christopher, he's a very nice guy. He's really nice. I really like the guy. He wrote this especially for me after me describing to him my personal tastes and all that. So, here we go. And it's called Pinkie Pie Sweet Picnic. Unfortunately, I do not have a link for this in the description because it's just a Word document. So, Pinkie Pie's Sweet Picnic. It was a sunny, warm, and delightful day in the town of Ponyville, and Sugar Cube Corner was filling the air with a gentle breeze of its newly baked goods. Sweet sugar, hot chocolate, mouth-watering flavors of all sorts could be smelled miles away, and they all came from the pink party mare herself, Pinkie Pie, who was just done with finishing up the last goods before packing her picnic basket. Fluttershy and her had been planning this picnic especially for a hot day like this, and Pinkie wasn't the one to break a promise, especially a Pinkie promise. The excited mare took a few sniffs at the fresh goodies. Fluttershy's going to love these cupcakes! Pinkie had been enthusiastic and baked as many flavors as she could think of for Fluttershy to try out. Besides, she was unsure of what Fluttershy's favorite flavor was, but she could always ask Fluttershy about that later today when they'd meet up. The party mare got a little cloth over the picnic basket so the sweets wouldn't get cold. She then bounced out of the door and locked it afterwards with the little key she held by her mouth and set up a sign with big letters on the door saying, BRB. Pinkie then wandered off, locating a spot that they had agreed to have their picnic. It was on a slightly tall hill, just a little away from Fluttershy's house. Fluttershy had informed Pinkie it would be exactly right there. Why she was so specific about it was a mystery to Pinkie, but a picnic's a picnic, no matter where it is. Meanwhile, Fluttershy was on the hill, folding out a big rouge carpet for the picnic. She was nervous and couldn't help but impatiently look around every minute to scan anything with her eyes that could be identified as Pinkie Pie. It was just she and Pinkie, all alone, right there on that one hill. The weather was perfect for the occasion. No cold wind, not too hot shine from the sun, just right. Fluttershy laid down on the carpet, getting herself into a comfortable resting position. Resting her head on her front hooves, curling up just enough to use her own tail as a pillow. Oh, how cute. She sighed out and closed her eyes as thoughts went through her mind. Pinkie Pie had always been there for her, and offering a picnic was the very least she could do. And whenever Pinkie was around, she didn't feel so shy as she usually is around every pony else. There was something about the happy-go-life enthusiasm, her motivational spirit and humorous random personality that had made an attachment to Fluttershy. Always happy, cheerish, fun, and that lovely, spunky mane. Her soft, round form, probably caused by eating so many sweets, but it only made her look so much more tempting to touch and feel. And those eyes, those gorgeous, big, bright eyes. Fluttershy smiled while she lay there, thinking of the pink mare. Suddenly, she felt a presence, and some pony nuzzling her nose gently. Opening her eyes, Fluttershy made direct eye contact with the one she had been expecting. "Hi, Fluttershy!" Pinkie shouted in excitement with a big grin. Fluttershy squeaked and jumped, falling into her back from being startled. "Pinkie, please don't sneak up on me like that." She tried to hide a small blush that had appeared on her cheeks. Pinkie giggled. "It was just too good to pass up. Besides, how could I get myself to wake up some pony who looks so cute when they sleep?" Fluttershy looked slightly away, pouting while her hair covered half of her face, her hoof going in a little circle on the ground nervously, feeling like her cheeks were about to burst from turning so red. I guess? Ooh! Just take a look! Pinkie removed the cloth from the picnic basket she brought along, showing off all the different flavors of cupcakes there was. They were still so hot you could see the steam come up from them, and the smell was almost intoxicating. Fluttershy peeked and looked them over. Oh my, they all look really delicious. She wasn't sure which one to try first. Pinkie was already nomming down the first ones, digging her head into the basket and eating right away. Sound effects. Sound effects is my favorite part. Nom 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 nom. She gulped it down and licked her lips, making Fluttershy blush even further. Pinkie was always kind of impulsive and direct, much different from Fluttershy's careful and slow way of doing things. But she didn't mind it. In fact, she kind of liked it. Fluttershy looked down again and picked up one of the cupcakes, slowly biting into it and really tasting it thoroughly. That did not sound like Fluttershy at all. She sighed out, she sank, and took another bite. Pinkie, you make the best cupcakes. They're simply wonderful, she exclaimed. Pinkie rubbed the back of her head and chuckled. No, you're just saying that, Pinkie replied playfully. Oh no, I insist. You're the best baker I know, Pinkie. Please, never stop baking. She looked shyly at Pinkie Pie. The pink mare felt an unusual feeling go over her. No one had ever praised her for cupcakes this much, nor said she's the best baker. Pinkie blushed. Thank you very much, Fluttershy. No pony has ever complimented me this much before. She looked back at Fluttershy, the sun making her eyes sparkle and just make her look that much more adorable, especially with that little smile crossing her lips. Really? That's a shame. You deserve it, though, or at least I think so. I've always preferred your treats over any other store. Fluttershy blushed again, smiling, closing her eyes and nibbling the rest of her cupcake. She didn't notice Pinkie was crawling over to sit right beside her. Pinkie's heart was pumping faster and felt a wave of feelings go over her. The Pegasus's presence was building up an unexplainable tension in Pinkie Pie, growing warmth from below. Oh, from below. He's trying to say she has to fart. Pinkie crossed her legs and she leaned into Fluttershy, who let out a little meep in response. She looked down at Pinkie Pie, right into her big, life-full eyes. Is there something wrong? Pinkie's soft coat against her made Fluttershy unable to move, her warm touch triggering Fluttershy's heart to pump faster as well. Pinkie Pie spoke softly. Well, that's odd. Do you really think I'm the best baker? Her tail wagging slightly. Of course, Fluttershy said gleefully. The best one there is. There is. Fluttershy instantly corrected herself. Pinkie giggled and smiled. I have the best eyes, too? Ha! Lucky me! Pinkie leaned into Fluttershy and nuzzled her tightly. The Pegasus smiled and hugged back carefully, enjoying the connection much more than she should. Pinkie rolled them down so they were both cuddling before they both relaxed, Fluttershy resting her head under Pinkie's chin, still holding her close. The cuddling had gained the Pegasus more encouragement, and she leaned up to face the pink party pony. I was wondering why you brought so many flavors. Not that I mind, but I just wanted to know if it was for anything specific. Oh, I didn't know which one was your favorite, so I tried as many as I could come up with. Pinkie chuckled. Fluttershy smirked. Oh, but Pinkie, you didn't have to do that. Because you really want to know what my favorite flavor is? Fluttershy leaned closer to Pinkie's face, giving her the bedroom eyes. Pinkie gulped at a little from her eyes, blushing slightly. Yeah, sure, I want to know. What's the flavor, Fluttershy? Pinkie looked at her with anticipation. Fluttershy grinned and leaned closer to her lips, so her lips were just inches from Pinkie's ear, as she whispered, Cotton candy. My voice is really raspy there. Cotton candy. Cotton candy. No. This is hard. a sexual Fluttershy saying cotton candy. Huh. Cotton candy. Yeah, that'll do. Before closing her eyes and digging her nose deep into Pinkie's mane and taking a huge sniff. Pinkie's eyes widened, letting out a surprised small gasp, leaving her cheeks blushing very red. Fluttershy, what are you... Pinkie's sentence was interrupted by her lips getting locked with the Pegasuses, while she was wrapping her hooves around Pinkie's back, leading her deeper into the sudden kiss. Pinkie's mind was feeling like it was about to burst, but settled down quickly, as she closed her eyes too and joined in the kiss, returning Fluttershy's embrace. They both just laid there, smooching, kissing and letting out quiet moans between the kisses. Oh. That's nice. Pinkie decided to attempt to step it up a notch and very carefully tried to slip her soft tongue between their lips, but Fluttershy was way ahead of her, as Pinkie could feel Fluttershy's tongue already poking against her own tongue tip. They began a gentle tongue wrestle, both blushing and moaning into it. Making wet, gentle slurping sounds as they went French style, the heat between them increasing by the minute, you know? I always found kissing really attractive. Not visually, but the description. If you can describe a kiss really well, that's really nice. Anyway. Sorry, I lost my place. Fluttershy. Pinkie sighed as Fluttershy broke the kiss and licked her lips. Please excuse me. I've been trying to tell... Shh! Pinkie placed her hoof on Fluttershy's lips. Let's just get very, very comfortable, she said, gently pushing Fluttershy down on the carpet and spreading her friend's legs. Oh. She leaned down, starting to kiss at the neck, then at the chest and slowly going lower and lower, licking, smooching and loving her tenderly. Oh, my goodness. Fluttershy closed her eyes and was breathing heavier. Pinkie's long tongue caressing her belly felt too good for words as she worked her way down. Pinkie then came to a sudden halt, as her tongue touched something completely different from what she had in mind. Between the Pegasus's legs was a medium-sized dong. I like that word choice. Was a medium-sized dong with a pair of coat-covered testicles attached below. It was erect and almost looked like it was begging for Pinkie to continue, but the sight of it caught her off guard as she scanned it over with her eyes. Fluttershy was wondering why Pinkie had stopped, but then realized the situation, blushing dark red in embarrassment. I can explain. Please don't be mad. No way! You have one too? Oh my god, we're like... wow! That must be really something, like... to be... like, if you were a transsexual, you know, and you met somebody else that was just like you, that'd be a little something. That would be something else. But, you know, I mean, they were born that way, so... I guess this must be even more exciting for them since, you know, that doesn't happen in Ponyville that often. Yeah. You know, for a pony to have a penis. That doesn't happen in Ponyville. Pinkie shouted gleefully, standing on her hind legs proudly to show off her own set, but it was larger than Fluttershy's, which made Fluttershy stare in a mix of surprise and arousement. Ooh. Pinkie had grown hard, too, the passion grown onto her. Don't worry. You'll get your turn, too. But first... Pinkie lowered her head down between Fluttershy's legs and continued what she started, eyeing the throbbing tip. She gave the tip a kiss and began to lick around it eagerly, getting it nice and wet all over before engulfing the tip into her mouth, sucking and licking it as if it were a lollipop. Oh, man. This description... This is great, man. This is great, Chris. I'm loving it. Fluttershy tried to keep calm, but the sensation she was experiencing was almost overwhelming. The pink mare's tongue was so soft, hot, and wet. It felt nothing like anything Fluttershy could have ever imagined. It was as if she was dreaming, only she wasn't. Oh my god. The moaning sound effects are really hard for me to do. You know, I'm not even gonna try. Fluttershy let out a sigh, the tickle in her length getting stronger as Pinkie began to bob her head up and down her shaft, caressing her lips along the length and twirling her tongue around the throbbing member in her mouth, letting out big moans to cause an arousing vibration that forced Fluttershy to moan louder, grabbing her hooves tightly around the carpet to keep herself steady. Pinkie wasn't very experienced at this, but from what she could tell, she was giving Fluttershy the pleasure of a lifetime. Well, I mean, I'd appreciate it. I'm just saying. Hearing the Pegasus moan louder, she was encouraged to go faster, making loud slurp sounds as she got more of the length into her mouth. Due to Fluttershy's slightly smaller size, Pinkie managed to get so much in her mouth she could kiss against the base of Fluttershy's wiener, causing Fluttershy to let out a huge moan. But Pinkie wasn't done yet. Pinkie then giggled and teasingly began to fondle Fluttershy's orbs. Oh my. With her hooves, her long tongue even managed to give them a few licks in the in the process. It was driving Fluttershy crazy. Her hips began to give in, and she very gently humped at Pinkie's mouth, letting her tongue out and moan with her eyes half Pinkie, I think The expression of Fluttershy's face said everything. As she was squeezing her eyes, she closed and her mouth began to form into an O, preparing for the incoming. Pinkie knew Fluttershy wasn't going to last any second now, as she slurped her lips back slowly along the hot shaft, giving it one last suck and breaking the connection with a big pop sound. I love that sound effect when it's just like, well, that's not really an accurate representation, but you know what I'm trying to say. Opening her mouth wide, smiling while awaiting Fluttershy's first climax. Oh my god. The Pegasus moaned out loudly. I know, that wasn't very attractive. For any of you who are watching this hoping that I'm going to make sexual, moaning sounds, I'm not going to do it. Maybe I'll make an entire video dedicated to me just making very girly sexual moaning sounds. How does that sound? Because I don't feel like doing it in the middle of a reading. Moaned out loudly, flapping her wings gently as her load squirted out over Pinkie, covering Pinkie's tongue and her face. Pinkie smiled and licked Fluttershy's tip clean, kissing it sweetly all over. That was a lot you had been sparing up in those, Pinkie giggled, fondling Fluttershy's balls with one hoof and looking up at Fluttershy, who was still in her afterglow. Fluttershy was panting and sweating slightly, blushing brightly. And now, it's my turn, insisted Fluttershy, gently making Pinkie lay on her back, now facing Pinkie's big, hard, throbbing love. Fluttershy didn't waste a second and gave the tip a big smooch before getting to work, licking and rubbing Pinkie's big hard-on. Pinkie watched Fluttershy treating her, blushing and cooing out small moans now and then. Just looking at the Pegasus being so passionate made Pinkie even harder, eventually getting her to bite down on her own lip. Yeah. See? No. We're not going to go into that region.